Yo guys, how's it going? Welcome into Rover Sports, and we officially saw the 49ers go to 3-0. I was very confident in this game, and in fact, if you bet on the 49ers minus the 6 points, they should have covered this game in so many different ways. I mean, the 49ers today were a dominant football team, and I am so encouraged even though they only won by 4 points today. There were a lot of things that were achieved. Number one, they found a way to win a game when they didn't play their best. You could say at Tampa Bay they were really sloppy. But here against the Pittsburgh Steelers, I'm going to say this. Even though Garoppolo threw 2 interceptions, and I'm going to repeat this when I break down the film of Jimmy Garoppolo, there were so many incredible Jimmy G moments that took you back to when Jimmy G was first with the San Francisco 49ers during that 5-game run. I mean, there were so many 14-yard throws off play action where he was throwing that intermediate pass 15 yards down the field. He was hitting guys like Deebo Samuel. I'll tell you who he was hitting a lot today. Obviously, the game winner, which was beautiful, to Dante Pettis when he battled for the game. And I'll tell you the statistics. It was just a joy to watch Jimmy Garoppolo. I think Goodwin was playing today, but let's see, actually. So, yes, Goodwin played today. I have to get George Kittle today. Was absolutely awesome, as he usually is. You also have Kittle, and let me tell you who else you have. Have Kittle, but you also have Kyle Juszczyk. And Kyle Juszczyk today was a man amongst boys. He made that great leap and grab, super athletic play after play, running people over, 3 catches for 51 yards, and a blocking menace out there. One of the most likable 49ers maybe ever. Just a guy that, as a fullback in the modern NFL, kind of a lunch pail, like take your lunch pail to work kind of guy, very gritty. Oftentimes those guys are overlooked. They're not the flashy position, but Kyle really is valued, and he does everything he does so many things for this offense, and to see him just get rewarded with that outstanding, just full extension catch was really incredible. This game, the 49ers today, the ball security was really frustrating. We had Mostert put it on the ground. That screen pass, it might have also been the Mostert where it was behind Raheem. And the fact is, that screen pass was just a killer in the first half when the 49ers were moving. Down at the end of the game, you had that really costly fumble down at the goal line where the guy's running in motion and you snap it. It's totally irresponsible. But the fact is, even though the 49ers were losing by 3, I was still so confident they were going to win. And the reason why is because, first of all, their defense was great. And I told you that Mason Rudolph was a fraud. The only reason Mason Rudolph had any statistics was because of Jason Verrett and because of one throw to Juju Smith-Schuster. He was running for his life. He played really scared. He has a weak arm. The 49ers intercepted him. I believe that one time they did intercept him. But there were multiple interceptions to be had, and this 49ers defense just sent so much blood. They were out for blood. Ahkello Witherspoon, his tackling is just ridiculous. He's flying to the football. I know he has a foot injury, but now we have the bye week, which is really good for his health. He's playing at an incredible level. Richard Sherman there, that stack up to get that guy short on that third down. In totality, this game was kind of sloppy with all the turnovers. It's hard to kind of, assess everything that happened. There was so much that happened in the 60 minutes. But the 49ers here, I love the hurry-up offense by Kyle Shanahan. I also loved near the goal line. I love the goal line calls. I loved how they kept trying to smash it in, 3 straight runs to get it in the end zone, not getting too cute down by the goal line. I just think Kyle's a really great coach, and I love the play-action passing game scheme. I think Jimmy Garoppolo came back to the old Jimmy Garoppolo today. He was taking shot after shot. He was getting licked, and he kept on getting up. And today, Jimmy Garoppolo really felt like what it is to be hit. And he got back in that kind of football mentality where he's going to get drilled and he's going to have to complete a pass. Jimmy Garoppolo was back to the old Jimmy of scanning the field, perfect trajectory on the football. The ball was coming out, great spiral, really accurate, catchable footballs, not putting it in harm's way most of the time. He was impeccably good off play action, the run game, the whole offense today. I think they acquired 470 yards. If they didn't turn it over, they should have scored 38 points. The score of this game should have been 38 to maybe like 20. 38-17. It should have been a 21-point rout over the Pittsburgh Steelers and Mason Rudolph. That's how much better the 49ers were. I know that turnovers are a big part of the game, but a lot of it is mental errors. I mean, when you look at these statistics, I mean, the Pittsburgh couldn't run the ball at all today. They ran it 22 times for 79 yards. Mason Rudolph, 14-27, ugly numbers. Had the 2 touchdowns, but those were mostly because of those huge plays and Jason Verrett being on the field for Witherspoon. But if Witherspoon is back, I don't expect Jason Verrett to be playing money down situations. The team statistics, the 49ers 26 first down to the Steelers 11. Passing first downs 14, which is an incredible number. Let's see. It also says 9 on the ground. Total yards, 436 yards. The 49ers today, through the air, averaging 8 yards a pass on completion. 23 for 32 today. Only 1 sack allowed. I think third down conversion rate was pretty good. I want to see third down. The red zone area, 3 for 6. I mean, this is the disparity in the game. The 49ers were in the red zone 6 times, and they only got points on 3 out of the 6 tries in the red zone. The Steelers were only in the red zone 1 time today. The time of possession is double. It's 23-36. Which is incredible. It's wonderful again. The 49ers really possessing the ball. And I'm sure that the Steelers on third down were absolutely awful. They were 3 of 12, and the Niners were 6 for 11. So the third down is great. Everything about the game. And the key is, guys, we see the potential of this team because Robert Saleh, I can't wait to see this defense come out on the field. I can't wait to see Fred Warner hit people. I can't wait to see, it is Quan Alexander. I can't wait to see him hit people. I know I kept calling him Lorenzo last week. Even Solomon Thomas, D Ford with the sacks. This whole pass rush of Buckner and these guys, they just swarm the quarterback. And they just hit really hard. Witherspoon is such an aggressive tackler. This team hasn't won yet, so this team is building. They're unlike the Eagles. The Eagles are that team that's sitting back on their laurels or sitting back on their championship a couple of years ago with Doug Peterson. Kyle Shanahan hasn't proved anything, and this team is playing really hungry, really scrappy football. They're playing an angry brand of ball, and they're just in a great mental framework. This is the team that is really on the rise. I said the 49ers. I've been rocking with this team for a long time. You guys know the show. I love the infrastructure. I love what John Lynch is doing. Jimmy Garoppolo is the dude. I've had a lot of people come up to me in the offseason and say Garoppolo is not very good, or he's shot, or he's like a Kirk Cousins. First game was shaky for sure, but today I am so happy and proud to be, a supporter of Jimmy Garoppolo or have made that opinion. I'm jacked to see what Garoppolo can do going forward. I watched Jared Goff and Baker Mayfield, and Garoppolo is absolutely the straw that stirs this drink, and he's absolutely better than Goff and Mayfield. And here's the thing. I know that the Rams team is elite. Corey Littleton's a really good player for them. Talib and Peters, Wade Phillips' defense. You can't go against the Rams anymore. I tried that the last couple of years. Even if their offense will struggle, Wade Phillips and Sean McVay will figure out ways to produce enough points and win. They're going to be a hell of an out in this NFC West. It's going to be a dogfight. Now, Seattle's been inconsistent. They almost lost to the Bengals. They barely beat a team with an injured Ben Roethlisberger. And then with Russell Wilson, it was a sloppy game, but Dennis Allen and the Saints had something in store for them today. A great win for the Saints. This NFC is very competitive. So I believe it's going to come down to the 49ers and the Rams. You might even split because one of these teams is going to be an 11-5 fifth-seeded wild card, and that fifth-seeded wild card is going to be playing against you have the South, probably a North, let me think. You have the South, the North, the NFC East, and the West. So I'm trying to think of who that fifth wild card is going to be because Green Bay's pretty good. But I think Green Bay might even be the 4th seed because you have the Cowboys, you have either 49ers or the Rams. It's definitely going to actually be the South team, whether it be the Saints or the Falcons. Probably not Carolina, even though Kyle Allen looks really good. So it'll be a team from the South, and San Fran could probably win that if you have to be a wild card 11-5. But I think that this is certainly a playoff team. My expectations, divisional round, like that's the bare minimum of what I want to see from this team is divisional round of the playoffs. I want this team to go to the NFC Championship. That would be a really good year, and they have the ability to even do really special things like damn near win the freaking conference, go to the Super Bowl, and damn win the Super Bowl. Because if Jimmy plays like he did today, if this defense stays healthy, if Witherspoon stays healthy with Richard Sherman, this offseason was a huge success. I mean, I can't stress enough the strength and conditioning staff and just the way that this team is hitting. These acquisitions of D Ford, of Quan Alexander, this defense is nasty and tough. In the trenches, it's a complete defense. And the secondary of Witherspoon, he looks like a different guy. He is really, really coming along. I just love what I see from this 49ers team. 3-0. A lot of people are going to notice, and I think that if they can get to Baker Mayfield and pressure Mayfield and force Mayfield to keep drifting out of the pocket, which is Baker Mayfield's become a drifter, I think that the 49ers could put a world of hurt on the Browns. It stinks, man. It's really a shame that you can't watch this team next week because this team is a treat to watch play the game of football. They're a physical team. They're not a finesse Kyle Shanahan West Coast team at all. They will absolutely pound the rock, and defensively, they really hunt. And Dre Greenlaw was a great pick. I just think John Lynch has just assembled this thing, and this thing is just waiting to take off. And so far, we've hit a beautiful 3 weeks of football. Going to Cincinnati, laying them down, crushing them, having the Pittsburgh game today with a lot of mistakes, and still finishing the game, still with a clutch touchdown. Listen, you got the blowouts out of the way. The Cincy game, everything was perfect. That was a walk. And I want to see a couple of these games be walks. But in the NFL, you're going to have games, like Richard Sherman said so eloquently at his press conference, you're going to have ugly football games in the NFL, especially when you're a good team. You're going to make mistakes. Things are going to happen. Listen, that TJ Watt is a good player. That Timmons is a good player. They have Fitzpatrick. Like, their defense, that's what's encouraging, is that the 49ers are still moving it so well against the Steelers. And once again, this should have been a 38-17 this should have been a walk, just like the Cincy game. It should have been over. And the 49ers played hard the whole time. It was just like a couple of execution errors, a couple of effort things like, fumbling, just a bad screen pass that gets batted up in the air, wrong direction. But the 49ers, even with the turnovers, nobody blinked. There was no panic on the sidelines. I love the composure of this team. They didn't make the turnovers a big deal. They were down 4-0 in turnovers. And then it was 6-3 at the half. The defense played their ass off. It was incredible. And then the defense, of course, got the winning play. Of course, those 2 long touchdowns were horrible to watch. I mean, on the Juju Smith-Schuster one, a good throw by Rudolph, but Rudolph was throwing lollipops. I told you Rudolph would look really shaky and have a bad game. And other than the fourth quarter where he hit Deontay Johnson, he had a noodle arm. He looked just really weak in the pocket, had an inability to escape the pocket. So I'm not a Rudolph guy at all. I wasn't a fan of him. I mean, his leadership skills look decent, you know. He didn't panic. That's the one thing I could give him credit for, is he finished the game strong, Mason Rudolph. But this 49ers team, I mean, this is a special, really, really good team. I mean, people thought the Eagles would be better than the 49ers. The 49ers are balling out. I mean, Denver, I thought Denver might have had a good year. That was a crappy pick by me. They look awful. And they're playing a brutal schedule. And the 49ers, yes, we could say the 49ers have gotten fortunate with scheduling, because I think every great Super Bowl team or every great team that makes it far has a patch of easy games and pretty easy schedules. So the 49ers this year, they got to avoid Ben Roethlisberger. You play Jameis Winston, who is the turnover machine. You got to play Andy Dalton and the Bengals. So the quarterbacks and the coaches that you've played are okay coaches. Arians, Tomlin, and not the elite of the elite, not the scary coaches. And of course, Zach Taylor. So that Browns game, I think that the 49ers, I think Cleveland, hopefully the Cleveland and the Ravens game is very emotional. It's a game this week where the 49ers will watch, and it's a game that will probably be very physical. A lot of emotions there with the AFC North. That division is still very much in the air. Then the 49ers go out and they play the Rams. So I believe you got to beat Cleveland, go to 4-0. Play the LA Rams. That's the toss-up. Probably a loss on the road, 4-1. But then listen to this. You go to Washington, 10-20, which is October 20th. If I'm around in the Pennsylvania area, I might try to drive to that game to see the 49ers. They're such a fun team to play. That'll be a party. The 49ers will absolutely drub Washington pretty good in that game. Then the 49ers welcome in Kyle Allen or Cam Newton. The Panthers defense isn't that great. I think the Panthers today played a weak Cardinals team, but it was fun to see Kyle Allen go out there, do well. 49ers will be favored and will win that game. So you're looking at, you just take care of Cleveland, take care of the Redskins, and take care of the Panthers. You're looking at a 6-1 start, and then you go to Arizona 7-1. At worst, 6-2 if for some reason the Browns get you. But you're 7-1 to start this damn season. Then you have Seattle at home. I'm just smelling rose. I think it's 8-1. I mean, and then what? You have another Cardinal game. You have two Cardinal games in 3 weeks. What a treat! Could be 9-1 before the Packers come to town, before you have the Ravens and the Saints and Falcons and Rams, and then you get a little dicey. But by that time you'll be 9-1. You know, you'll go 500. You'll get to 12 and 13 wins. Get to 12 wins. Hopefully the Rams will lose some for you. Get to 12, get to 13, get your bye week in the playoffs. Sit at home, relax, and this is going to be, I'm telling y'all, this is going to be beautiful. Imagine hosting a home game on divisional weekend. I mean, I know I'm going too far, but I'm having fun. And 49ers fans, it's a bye week. It's time for you to let your brain just enjoy this win. And it's time to kind of decompress today from what was a very stressful game at times. But it's all about the health of one Jimmy Garoppolo. And you knock on wood and you pray for health for this team. And if health stays, I think great things are on the horizon for this 49er ball club.